Centre for Independent Living Northern Ireland is pleased to present employers' costs and things to consider in your budget. Employers' costs. Your employer's costs will include things such as employees' wages, statutory annual leave, employers' national insurance contributions, employers' pension contributions, as well as emergency and contingency finance, employer and public liability insurance, an accountancy service, and or a payroll service. Other costs. As required, these may include agency cover and other costs as outlined in your support plan. Employees' wages. This is the gross amount an employer pays their staff before legally required deductions are made. These often include income tax, employee national insurance, employee pension contributions, and student loan repayments. It's important to remember that everyone's financial situation is different, and therefore the deductions taken from an employee's wages will vary. Statutory annual leave. Annual leave is a legal entitlement for all employees. When an employee leaves your employment, you must pay them for any untaken leave within their annual leave year. This includes any contracted annual leave carryover from the previous year. Employer's national insurance. Depending on the amount of wages an employer pays, the employer may also be legally required to make national insurance contribution payments to the HMRC. Employer's pension contribution. All employers must now contribute to their employee's pension if the employee has opted to join a pension scheme or has been auto-enrolled. Emergency and contingency finance. It is not uncommon for employers to experience unexpected costs. For example, significant increases to the national living wage, initial payments towards statutory sick pay, or emergency support hours. Employer and public liability insurance. All employers must have significant employer and public liability insurance from a specialist provider. This is a legal requirement and is also required when using direct payments to employ and pay staff. An accountancy service. Even relatively low budgets, if managed incorrectly, can lead to significant over or underspends. Some employers buy support from an account service. Such a service should advise on the following: savings that should be made if an overspend has occurred, sustainable gross hourly rates for staff, and possible solutions to financial difficulties an employer may be facing. A payroll service. While some employers choose to run their own payroll using specialist software, most employers choose to pay a payroll service or accountant for this support. Agency cover. Agency cover means setting the money aside for a private agency to cover when your own employees are unwell or otherwise unavailable. In most cases, but not all, agency cover would be considered in emergency circumstances, as it is not usually very cost effective. Other support costs. Other support costs as outlined in your support plan. It is important to remember that sometimes not all of your agreed costs will be related to employment. You may have agreed other types of support with your Health and Social Care Trust key worker. To recap, your employer's costs. These include employees' wages, statutory annual leave, employers' national insurance contributions, employers' pension contributions, as well as emergency and contingency finance, employer and public liability insurance, an accountancy service, and or a payroll service. Other costs. Once a PA employer has taken into consideration all of their costs, they are then in a position to decide how much they can afford to pay their staff as a gross hourly rate. Centre for Independent Living Northern Ireland can, through their account service, advise on all these considerations and help with calculations.